Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Cinema Scrutiny podcast. Today is episode 17, and I am joined, as always, by my co-host, Billy. Billy, how are you doing this week?
I'm doing good. Glad that you pulled out all the stops with the calculator today.
Yeah.
It's,
We actually, I wanted to show you guys the proof because I know I said I was going to do some of the math last week. So as you can see, 16 plus 1, I typed it into the Google supercomputer, and it does confirm what I suspected to be true, which is that 17 is the number of the episode of the podcast.
it's incredible. Incredible stuff.
Yeah.
Good to be here, man.
Yeah, it is good to be here. I think we got some interesting topics, got some sad topics. So we are just going to jump right into it. Today, we are going to start with another piece of unfortunate news, and that is that Alex Trebek passed away at the age of 80. For those of you who don't know, he was the host of Jeopardy for, oh my God, like 40 years probably.
It was like 35, 40
Yeah.
years, yeah, somewhere in there.
He is definitely, especially for the American audience, I think one of the more iconic, if not the most iconic game show host of all time.
Like ever. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think that like everybody has, their own Jeopardy story. When we were in Montreal, me, Billy, and we were watching Jeopardy with our friend Liana, and it was just us like screaming at the television at 4 a.m. with like we made some cookies and we're just like yelling answers that were very obviously wrong. But Jeopardy's always been like a great show. I love watching Jeopardy. I think it's like one of the more interesting game shows, and I think that he always had like the I don't know. I feel like he validated the intelligence level of the show with his vibe.
Yeah, definitely. He was it was one of those shows that you always watched as a kid, like also like Wheel of Fortune.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously it was like right before Wheel of Fortune, but like, you know, as a kid you'd like watch it back to back with like your family and stuff, and he was like quite literally like in everyone's home at night, and it was like a very like I know we watched it in Montreal like
Mm-hmm.
as we were adults and like we're screaming at the TV like idiots, but like it was a very like calming show to watch,
Yeah,
and
it's
it was
pretty
like
enjoyable.
it was just an enjoyable good time, and like you said, he brings that good vibe, and he did validate the intelligence of the show and everything, and I don't know who's gonna replace him. I don't even know if they ever could. I'm sure they will, but like
Yeah, I think
I
they're
don't even want to
gonna.
think about it. But like
Yeah, they're
it's just
definitely
sad.
going to, because I think that he would agree that like we would all rather see Jeopardy go on than stop with him.
Mhm.
So we'll see what happens going forward. For now, it's definitely just sad to hear. I know that he was quarantined, like he was just like in, like staying at home. He
Yep.
was with his entire family and his kids. So I believe he said, because he wrote his memoir like maybe 3 or 4 months ago, and he said that that was probably the best thing, to just be able to spend his like final time, because he knew he was dying,
Right.
with his family. So, rest in peace, Alex.
Yeah. Rest in peace, Alex Trebek. I texted Liana yesterday actually about it, and
Mhm.
we talked about it for a little bit. But yeah, big sad.
Yeah. All right. Well, we are going to keep on chugging, and we are going to move into something that is honestly very stupid and probably not the best thing to segue off of. But in the 90s, there were Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle movies. And
Holy.
the writer of those films wants to return the franchise to those. And I believe he said he wanted to make a sequel to the original trilogy from the 90s.
Sequel slash soft reboot
Ooh.
slash continuation. Uh, Very interesting. I don't know how to feel about this because I
So,
kind of like the first two.
yeah,
Like
I think we watched them again, probably like, I don't know, like probably earlier this year, actually. And they were
yes,
they're good. I mean, they're
they
fun.
are.
They're not like, it's very campy and it's like very obvious that it's, like they're using the prosthetics or whatever, what
The
are they, like the
puppets. Well,
puppets,
I
yeah,
guess they're actually like
costumes.
they were like groundbreaking costumes at the time. Like nobody had nobody had seen costumes like these. Like
Yeah,
they were apparently like in the 90s or the 80s, whatever. I'm pretty sure the 90s when they made them. But
yeah,
like they were the most like functioning like puppeteered costumes you could
yeah.
get.
So they actually came out of I believe they came out of Jim Henson's Creature Workshop,
Yeah.
which obviously like the puppet masters of the planet. And we both saw the Dark Crystal remake or like new series on Netflix this year,
Right.
or it might have been last year, but like recently. And I think if anyone saw that, that was also Jim Henson's Creature Shop. And the level of quality that they have come to in the past 30 years is insane. Like that show
It is.
is
Yeah.
so well done. And like like you almost forget that it's puppets. Like it's just straight up real. You're like, oh my God.
Yeah.
So
I
like,
mean, like that being said, like I'd kind of be interested to see what it would look like. You know what I
that's what
mean?
I'm saying. I've like, if Jim Henson's coming, if the Jim Henson Creature Shop is coming back because Jim Henson's dead, that would be insane. Like I think they could do such an like amazing job to those turtles now that I just got to see it. Like it'd be so sick.
Yeah. Um, Someone suggested, or I guess whoever was interviewing him in the article, suggested that they make like they remake the first movie, just like with current technology.
That would also be kind of cool.
It'd be alright. I kind of want to see something different, but like with that style, because like
Yeah.
it was fun. Like it was like a goofy kind of fun. Like we were laughing our asses off watching it. I
Oh my
remember.
God, it's so weird. Yeah, I think
It's
that like
great.
so that's the question though. So if they either remake one of these movies or they do a sequel, right? The question is, where does this land? You know what I mean? Like, could this possibly make it to an actual theater, or does it have to go straight to streaming? And like, who's gonna pick it up? Like, I have
I
no
feel like
idea.
Netflix might buy it
I would be so pissed. I mean, like, okay, so
because they'll
listen,
just do it.
yeah, like, would it be cool if Netflix picked it up? Yes, but would it be better if Netflix instead went back to the Dark Crystal and made another season? That would be better.
Yes,
That'd be so
that
much
would be
better.
better.
That show is fucking nuts.
Yeah, I would. Oh, that's a good point. I don't
Yeah.
know. I don't know who would buy it. Maybe Amazon.
Oh,
Uh,
Jeff Bezos has a secret
or
TMNT.
actually, realistically, you know where it would end up? It would probably end up on HBO Max because I
Oh
think it was a Warner
no,
Brothers movie.
no.
So if anyone's gonna, if it's going to streaming, it's probably HBO.
Yeah, no, that's
Uh,
actually probably true. I just wish HBO was cheaper.
yeah, same dude. My friend, I was talking to a coworker today, or not today, yesterday, and he was telling me about the new Meek Mill show on HBO or
Hmm.
movie. It's something about like riding like bikes and ATVs in like Philadelphia or something like that.
That's kind of neat.
And he was saying it was sick and it was awesome. And he's like, "You gotta watch it, dude. You gotta watch it." I'm like, "HBO's too expensive. I can't." Like,
Yeah, you know what's so funny though? Now that I'm thinking about it, because we did the episode last week where Netflix is upping their price again, and I think it's kind of like where the frog in the pot, it doesn't really notice that the water's heating up.
yeah,
They're pretty much the same price now. Netflix is
yeah,
coming up on 15 after tax, and HBO Max is $15, right?
yeah. That's
So
right.
we did it. We played ourselves.
Yeah.
So
At least it was like a slow fall.
yeah, I
If it
still
was,
think that Netflix has more content. You know what I mean? But like HBO's got some quality content.
yeah. By the time the Snyder Cut comes out, they're going to be having insane content.
Yeah. Oh
Like I
God.
can only imagine it gets better. So
I'm already spending like $40 a month on streaming between like Netflix and Spotify and Amazon, and
no, same.
it's looking like
It
it's gonna
hurts.
go up. I might have to buy that fucking. I might have to buy that HBO Max.
HBO is looking better and better by the day.
Yeah.
And if let's be real, if this Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles ends up there,
Oh my God, I'd buy it.
it's more reasonable.
I'd have to go watch this. There's no
To be
fucking.
honest.
Yeah. All right. So while we ponder our wastes of money, then we're gonna jump into the next topic. This is news that we felt it was necessary to talk about. It is related to The Mandalorian on Netflix. So if you have not seen season 2, if you haven't seen the pilot episode, which realistically you should have because you watched this podcast and you wanted to follow along during our last episode.
That's right.
But if you haven't seen that episode yet, do not, there's spoilers ahead for this one topic. If you don't want to listen to the spoilers for Star Wars, just jump ahead to the next timestamp below. We timestamp the videos. It's great. So that's your warning. We are going to jump in and talk about it. And what we are going to talk about is that The Mandalorian is spawning a Boba Fett spinoff.
Oh,
Yeah.
oh,
Yeah. So
the Boba Fett.
yeah. So if obviously you guys have seen it because you're behind the spoiler wall. So at the end of episode one, Boba Fett shows up for like 2 nanoseconds, and like his armor is like a big point and like plot point
Mhm.
in the episode. It is looking like, according to Deadline, that they are hoping to start shooting a Boba Fett miniseries, literally like as early as next week.
Right.
And it would be starring Tamura, I believe his name is Tamura Morrison.
He's the guy who played
Yeah, he played
Jango Fett.
Jango Fett. Yeah, he plays all the clones.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So I guess what
Um,
are your initial thoughts on this, Billy?
I think um yeah, it's tough to say because this Boba Fett thing has been in like it's been quite literally development hell.
Yeah,
Um
was a movie, then it was a miniseries, then it was nothing, and now it might be bad.
yeah, Josh Trank was involved at one point,
Fuck Josh
and
Trank.
yeah, and
That's tough.
it's crazy because in a lot of ways the Boba Fett development hell really spawned the Mandalorian. It kind of
Yeah,
made the Mandalorian happen in a way.
I agree.
So it's interesting to see how the success of the Mandalorian is what pushed the Boba Fett show or miniseries, whatever they're going to do with it, over the edge.
Hmm.
Um,
Yeah,
and
I
I
don't know. I
think
think you just go ahead. Sorry.
I think it's interest. It'll be interesting to see the character, but it'll be more interesting to see the content that they go with. Like,
Yeah,
is it going to be in the past? Is it going to be like right after the Starlight Pit? You know?
is it going to be right after the episode that we just saw? Is it
Yeah,
going to be like where are we going? Yeah. Is
yeah.
it going to be like is Mando going to show up in it, or is it going to be just like a different angle of the same story? We don't know yet.
Right.
Have you seen episode 2 of season 2 yet?
I have not.
Okay,
I am behind.
that is fine. Okay,
I was going to watch it today or tomorrow, probably.
okay. I am going to give you some light spoilers
Sure.
just so that we can talk more about this in an efficient manner. And I think
Okay.
that if anyone really cares, again, timestamp out. This is very light spoilers, though, I promise. So, episode 2, literally talking nothing about the episode. Boba Fett's not in it for even a fucking frame, like not a second.
Okay. I
And
kind of
so
anticipated that.
I'm pissed. I'm pissed though, because like, listen, like it would, if they, like, there's some sort of linear storytelling so far, but if Boba Fett does not come back at all, what the fuck was the point of that? You know what I
It's a
mean?
teaser show.
I don't care. No one
They're
gives a
teasing
fuck
the
about this
characters,
show.
whatever the fuck they're doing.
It's just,
I agree.
yeah, worthless.
I'd much rather see him run into Mando and have
Yeah.
that little fight or whatever the fuck
Like
they
if
plan
we're
to do.
talking about, if we're talking about the rumors that we've seen for like the last couple of months, if Bo-Katan shows up and Ahsoka just show up for one episode, and they don't like Boba Fett doesn't even, he's literally in it. I fucking hit my mic. He's in it for 2 fucking nanoseconds. You know what I mean? Like if they just show me a picture of Ahsoka Tano in live action and they're like she's gonna get a miniseries, fuck you. Like that's so
Yeah, that'd be dick.
stupid.
That'd be pretty dick.
Like what's the point of that? Like let's just fucking use these characters now while we're here. Like I can't.
Yeah. I guess it all like loops into the conversation of producing more content for Disney Plus.
Yeah.
Um,
It just pissed me
but
off. I'm sorry.
I mean, yeah, I agree. I mean, like, just put them in Mandalorian. Like, they're there, you're here. Like,
Yeah, like, what
you're
are we
literally
doing?
here. Like, you don't need to. I don't want to have to wait another 9 months to see this character and
Yeah.
what happened
Which,
or what's going to happen with them.
obviously it is early on, so maybe he does come back around. Maybe they just wanted to have like a, more just a different episode. I don't know.
Yeah,
Not getting anything else into that episode. The episode's weird as fuck, and you should definitely watch it. Like it's just so. It's like so Star Wars in a way that Star Wars has never been.
really.
It's just it's just really weird. It could also be a little Star
Okay.
Trek. I feel like I could see this being like a super stupid episode of Star Trek. But yeah, it's just really interesting, and you should watch it because what the fuck.
Reminds me of pod racing.
Yeah, that was actually really cool. I don't know if we talked about it last time, but the one dude using the pod racer as like a slip bike,
Yes.
that was
Yes.
sick. Yeah, Timothy Dalton.
Awesome.
All right. So anyway,
Amazing.
not to keep the spoiler kids away for too long. But yeah, I don't know. We'll see what happens. I think if Boba Fett doesn't come back by the end of the season, I'm going to be a little pissed.
Yeah.
Because that was just like total fan service at that point, and like that's fine, but like,
Yeah, and it wasn't even like definitively Boba Fett. Like the only
yeah, no,
reason
I
you would
agree.
think it's Boba Fett is because of his face, which we haven't even seen his face, and the only reason we know his face is because the clones. It's just
Yeah,
ugh,
just
like
big Tamura
just
mercenaries.
just give it to us. Just give us the content.
Yeah. Also, you know what is weird? Okay, right before we leave, Boba Fett should be like 30. Like that's just how
Uh,
old he is. So the fact that this is
is he?
happening is kind of what's
I feel
up?
like he'd be like 40, like 45.
Nah, because the end of the Clone Wars, he's like 10, and
Is he?
then
Oh my
yeah,
god.
and then Luke's like 18.
Hmm.
So he should be like like 30 something. He should be like as old as Han Solo.
Right.
And Han Solo don't
And
look like. I mean, but obviously, one Tamura Morrison is older because he played an adult in
yeah,
2000, and now
yeah,
he's playing the same dude. Also, the Sarlacc pit probably just fucks the shit out of somebody. So like,
yeah, definitely.
yeah,
I
we'll
think his
see what
eyebrows are
happens.
gone.
Yeah, he was like big bald. But I just thought I'd bring
Yeah.
it up just because it's an interesting. It's gonna be interesting to see if they even talk about it or if they're just like whatever. But
Right.
yeah. So anyway, moving on so we can bring the other people back into the episode. So welcome back, everybody. Thanks for skipping that part if you did. Go watch go watch Mando. Come back, watch the part. It's good.
Okay,
Anyway,
you'll understand.
yeah. What we're gonna talk about now is that AMC posted they're a publicly traded company, so they had to post their quarterly earnings for the third quarter of 2020. It was really bad. It was really, really, really bad.
Obviously.
AMC posted a 90.9% drop in revenue in its third fiscal quarter as the theater chain continues to reckon with the fallout of COVID-19. That is,
It's tough.
it's seriously, it's around $1 billion
Yeah.
since
Yeah.
2019 that they have just straight up lost.
Is so they posted the third quarter
Mm,
revenue. Is that does Tenet fall under the third quarter
I
like
believe it
cycle?
should, yes. So
Right.
AMC posted 119.5 million in revenue,
Okay.
which is down over the billion that they made last year.
Right.
I'm trying to even think what came out last year. Probably big stuff. It's been so long.
Well, I think didn't did Endgame come out? No,
No, that was 2018.
2018. Yeah.
Yeah, Spider Man might have came
Hmm.
out last year,
Yeah, I think
like
you're
early
right.
last year.
I
Yeah,
think
I
you're
don't.
right.
The whole thing's just fucked. Like AMC's violently trying to avoid bankruptcy. They're
Yeah.
talking to all kinds of people. I think they're probably going to. Yeah, hold up. AMC is currently operating 539 of its 600 domestic locations. So that's most of them, right? So I think they're probably gonna have to sell. It could be close to 200 to half. You know what I mean? Like 200 to 300
Yeah.
of those theaters to probably stay solvent,
Yeah, probably.
which is definitely it's always a tragedy to see these places go down. The problem is I don't even have an answer at this point. Like we're just talking about it. Like between you have to pay people to just you have to pay the workers, you have to pay for all
Yeah.
of like the food.
The
They're
only thing I could
probably
think of is like a bailout, and it's like, is that even worth it? Because how long is it gonna last? Like,
I don't know. I could if they can last a little longer. I could see not even like if
I think the studio should like offer some kind of bailout to theater chains like AMC and other other larger chains as well. But like, just do something. Like,
yeah, if theaters wanted to do it, or I could see the government. We talked about that a little bit. I could see the government maybe doing it
right,
because the movie theater, like all movie theater chains across the country, employ I think upwards of like 50,000 people,
right,
which is more than like 50,000 to 100 is about how many coal miners there are left, and we argue about coal miners all fucking day of the week. So like this could be something that could save some jobs. I don't know if it's enough jobs for the government to really give a shit about it.
yeah,
Also, not to get political, but depending on who wins the House and the Senate, the Republicans are very much turning around now that they've seemed to have lost the presidential election. and they're
Yeah.
like, we need to cut the deficit, which like they only say when they're not in charge. But that was a political opinion, so we're gonna keep going. Yeah, I don't know. I agree with you. Like, someone's got to help. I think that theaters are always going to have a place. I think that, some people think they're going away. I don't think they ever will. I don't think they'll be as big as they are.
Yeah.
But, as long, maybe VR could like take it out.
Maybe.
I don't know. Like, just I can't afford a 700-foot screen. That's where we're at. Like as long as they can show me something on a huge ass screen and give me some nice buttery popcorn, like I'm there. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
They really just need like the rollout of like larger movies.
yeah,
like,
I mean they just need things to be safe again. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because like the moment that I don't have to wear a mask to go there and I can feel safe without like knowing I'm going to catch, a violent disease, I'm there, right? And actually, as of this morning, I don't know if you saw, but Pfizer,
I did.
they are a pharmaceutical company. They said that they were 90%, or their treatment was 90% effective. Their vaccine,
It is very good news.
which is very high, and that is very good news. And
my stock portfolio is fucking booming today.
yeah,
because of
great day for stonks, except for video game stonks. They're actually not doing so great because they're like, oh fuck, people are going back outside. But I think that if that holds true and we start to see, maybe like, I was always kind of a pessimist about when we're going to get back to normal, quote unquote.
Mm-hmm.
If this can turn around by like January, they start releasing it, and then it takes, probably 2 or 3 months for everyone to get it.
Yeah.
Like if we're all fixed up by March, we're good. Like, we slam in, like then all of a sudden it's like Black Widow, Wonder Woman. Like you start just pummeling the shit out of people.
Yeah.
That would be exciting. So I don't.
And
That could
everything's
save
pretty
it.
much like set for like June release dates ish, May, June.
Yeah.
And like you said, if that timeline's accurate of like January, I think that could be almost perfect for them. Like, I think they could survive until the summer of next year.
Yeah.
I think that's where, like, if things aren't like heading in a better direction by then, I think that's when we're gonna start seeing it getting worse and worse for AMC. Like, right now it's just like their earnings are bad, and like we know they're suffering and we know they're on the back foot, but like soon enough they're going to start saying like, we're selling 100 theaters, we're closing X amount,
Yeah,
and
I think you'll probably see bankruptcy before we see theaters open, but hopefully they can, manage that well.
yeah, hopefully.
I don't know.
I agree.
So we will see what happens. Hopefully, that vaccine gets, put through the ringer of the FDA and everything and can get out safely soon.
Let's hope. I'm tired of this shit.
Yeah, no, it is very tiring. Okay, so moving on to our last news topic, and this is a really interesting topic to me and Billy. We hope that everyone else finds it interesting.
Yeah.
And that is, according to IndieWire, Netflix is testing TV channels of scheduled programming. So basically, to explain, exactly what it is, like when you think of like a TV channel, obviously like certain shows run at certain times, movies run at certain times. Like you look at it, there's like a guide. And this is what Netflix is trying to do. They're looking to make a curated, kind of channel that you can just tune into, and whatever is currently being streamed, you'll jump right to that second. You'll watch it in real time with whoever else is watching that channel.
Yep.
And, I think that I have talked about this on podcast, not this podcast, on our previous podcast, which is no longer available online, unfortunately.
Yes.
This, like, I've been talking about this forever. Like, in college, I was like, Netflix needs channels that I can just watch.
Yeah.
And, my friend was like, oh, that's so stupid. That's such a dumb idea. Why don't you just watch what you want? Because I don't know what I want to watch, bro. Like, that's like,
I just want to turn on Netflix
oh,
and they just tell me what to watch. I
Is-
just turn on the channel and that's it.
yeah, like I don't like, and tell me if you feel the same way, but like, there are definitely times, like, if we're talking about television, like television as a concept, like you got cable, right? I like, there's something to be said about the way the television works. Like, I think that we've had the argument, I think on this podcast, about weekly versus binge releasing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah,
I
yeah.
like weekly releases. I like just being able to turn on my TV and be like, what's on? You know what I mean? Like Indiana
Yep.
Jones is streaming, right? But if I see Indiana Jones and it's like 10 minutes in on like ABC, I'm like, oh my God.
I'm watching Indiana Jones now.
Yeah,
Like,
like it's just like you don't know what you want to watch and then you see it and you're like, yes, that is
yeah,
it.
exactly.
So like I'm super excited. I don't know. What are your thoughts on it?
I think it's a great fucking idea, and like I think on a surface level, I remember you bringing it up before, and
Hmm.
someone saying like that's a dumb idea. There's no point in that because it's streaming. But it's like, yes, it is like traditional television, but like traditional television isn't broken. Like, you know what I mean? If it's not broke, don't fix it.
Yeah,
And
it's just the same
like,
thing but without ads. It's even better.
yeah, exactly. It's like you don't need to put commercials on it. There's no ads. Like, it's all like high level content,
Mm.
and I think it's a great way to promote new stuff. It's a great way to get some of your lesser watch stuff out
Mm.
there. Because if people are going to tune into the channel, you could put stuff on, and all of a sudden someone's watching, uh, I don't know, The Old Guard, and they're like, I've never seen this before. What the fuck is this? And
Yeah,
then
they're
you
like they're
just found a
watching.
new, like a new viewer,
Yeah,
and
you
and
could
with the
probably
weekly
lure people
releases,
in with better shows. You could put the old guard first, and then after it, it's like something that doesn't get enough play,
right?
but they'll just like cycle into it because it's what's next.
Yeah, and I don't know if Netflix has done weekly releases on anything yet. I don't think they have.
They did it
Um,
for like one or two shows. They were mostly like either new. They were like news style shows,
oh,
like the
okay.
Hassan Minaj show.
Oh,
That
okay.
was weekly, but that's a weekly talk show. You know what I mean? It's like a late night
Yeah.
type of deal.
I mean, if they started doing weekly releases on like their bigger stuff, like let's say the next season of Stranger Things, like
Hmm.
all of a sudden, if you have your channel, your Netflix channel, you could have your weekly release of Stranger Things at prime time, like 8 p.m.,
Yeah,
and all of a sudden, it's like just like a regular TV channel. Like that'd be sick. Like, it's like Netflix party, but like it's already set up. It's like everybody's watching. Like,
yeah, I agree, and I think that'd be like especially if you can get everyone to watch the show at the same. Well, kind of like with Game of Thrones.
yeah.
Like you can really take over Twitter for that like hour.
Yeah,
You know
it's
what I
just like
mean?
a live conversation with everyone. Like Game of Thrones used to do it, Walking Dead used to do it. Like
Yeah.
you just take over the internet for X amount of time that your show's on. Like I think like I just think it opens up the possibility for a lot more like exposure for Netflix and their content. So and it
Yeah.
would be nice to just turn it on and be like, I don't know what I want to watch. I'm gonna turn on the channel, and all of a sudden you got some good shit going.
Yeah, I mean, I totally agree, and I think that once they test out a channel, which I assume is what they're doing now.
I think they said
uh,
they're gonna test it in France in December or something like that.
yeah, I would definitely like everything. Like I would have a comedy channel where
Oh
it's
yeah.
just 30-minute sitcom episodes back to back to back. Like it made more sense. Like my argument when I first had this idea
Hmm.
was that like you'd show me two episodes of Friends, then you'd throw in an episode of Seinfeld, an episode of The Office, an episode of Big Bang Theory,
Yeah.
like Schitt's Creek. Like you're just cycling through funny content, and it's like I don't really want to watch any particular show, but I just want to laugh. You know what I mean? So it's just
Yeah.
comedy. And I
Yeah.
think now, obviously, Netflix has lost like a lot of those shows,
Hmm.
but like the idea is still there. You know what I mean? Like it's like if you just wanted a channel of like back to back stand up. You know what I mean? Like
Right.
even that would be cool. And then you can start doing interesting things. Like you could have Netflix as I'm sure they could do this. Like you just build like a robot, you know what I mean? Like an AI that starts like curating channels.
Yeah.
So like you just give it, you give the AI like a topic, like here, like you're going to be the sci-fi channel.
Hmm.
And then it sees that it has 24 hours and it's like blocking for each day. And then, it's like this is when things need to start, this is when things need to end, like on the half hours, the hours. And then it like looks at all of the content that Netflix has under the sci-fi category and starts grabbing things. And then all of a sudden
Just
it's like
starts rotating things.
yeah, and it's all
Yeah.
about like heuristics then. And this is me getting a little nerdy. But like you just grab, like, oh, like this show has like 50 million viewers. So I'll pull like one episode of that and then we'll pull in like some of the lower content. You know what I mean? It's like maybe you have like, like my 24-hour block has to have this much popularity. And so
Right.
like you're grabbing the really popular stuff, but then you grab some smaller, like the whole thing, it's, yeah, big brain.
It just makes total sense.
Yeah. And then it's like people are talking about which channels they think are the most popular, or they're like, oh, like I just found this new channel that's like just like, just stand up. Like you gotta watch it. It's so funny.
Right.
Or like this
Not to
one's
mention
just British.
like Netflix's like comedy division, like Netflix is a joke. Like
Yeah.
could
Very
straight up
funny.
be its own fucking service.
Yeah. No, you're
they're
right.
like their own division of Netflix is like their comedy like stand up shit,
Yeah.
their comedy shows. Like
I mean, you
that
could
channel would
even,
be like Comedy Central, like fucking nuts. Like it'd be
yeah.
awesome.
And I think it even, okay, this idea is so good. Like it even helps with like smaller content. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like if we're doing, like a comedy thing, like you can have like 1 minute comedy sketches that you could just intercede between episodes of things. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like you could put in smaller content for maybe historical channels. You could put in like the actual, like, like here's a movie, here's a documentary about the same like the same historical period. Here's another thing. You could do like with old, like classic film. Like you could have, Netflix, like, I don't want to say historians, but kind of like those old like A&E shows where it's like they talk like 15 minutes before the film about why the film's important and what's going on.
Right.
Like, oh, and like you don't need to
Love
put
those.
that anywhere. You know what I mean? So
Yep.
like recently Netflix, I'm going to talk about this for probably the fourth time in 4 weeks. The Boys and the Band. So it's a great film, but at the end, and they did this with The Witcher as well. Like you get to the end and it's like, would you like to watch this documentary on the making of The Witcher? Or
Right.
like here's a documentary on the it's a documentary on the historical importance of Boys in the Band. And I was like, you know what? Yeah. And it's like if you just show me that on your TV stream and then you just cycle into it afterward, or even like if as the movie's ending and the next one's about to start, you offer that to me. You're like, do you want to jump out of this stream and watch this thing? Yes. You're smart. You're keeping me engaged. It's genius.
I'm never leaving the platform.
It's just it's just genius. Like you could do like a Casey Neistat channel where it's just The Godfather on repeat.
Right.
Like,
Oh, that'd be sick.
or like the whole thing's great. Genius. Keep it going. I hope it works out in France. I think it's a great idea.
I think it'll work, and I wouldn't be surprised if it actually becomes a thing.
Yeah,
And
I
nobody
want
should
lots
shit
of
on this idea
channels.
because it's a fucking genius idea. Okay,
Big brain.
big brain, huge brain.
All right, I'm just taking a sip of my drink. Sorry, all right, let's let's move on. Let's get out of the news. Let's get to our timeless topic, and that is, why do video game movies always suck?
This is rough.
It is rough, and the photo that I've chosen to illustrate this the best. I don't know if I don't think I posted it for you, Billy. So I'm actually going to send it to you right now because we are doing this
Okay.
live remotely. For those
We're doing
of
it
you
live.
who never knew, I'm using the Goomba from the first, which is I didn't know this. This is the first live action video game movie ever.
It's a Super Mario Bros.
It
movie,
is
right?
Super Mario Bros.
Oh, that movie's a fucking train wreck.
Yeah, I mean, I think you can just tell just by looking at this fucking photo.
Yeah, it's pretty sick.
So
That's how I feel when I watch a lot of these.
Yeah. So actually, looking into this topic a little bit, like I just said, it's way more recent than I thought it would be. Like obviously, video games have only come into like super popularity within the last I guess video games as a concept in general. It's like 50 years. Like Pong
Right.
came out in like the 70s, and now we're here. God damn. I mean, it's such a short period of time, right? So, but like the
Right.
the
But
point
it has
to
boomed.
where the point to where it has become so mainstream that they're making movies starts with this Mario film.
Yeah.
And the Mario film, I have a list on Wikipedia that we're going to kind of use as our talking. It's 1993 is the first like box office, not success, but the first box office outing
Right.
for live action Hollywood movies. So also, I think if, for those who are viewing directly, when you look at the Rotten Tomatoes scores, none of them like are above 50.
No.
Let's cycle through it real quick. The lowest is 1% with Alone in the Dark. Never heard of that video game.
Neither have I.
Yeah, it's from 2005 too. It's like, what? But okay. Anyway. And the highest score, Detective Pikachu with 68%.
See, I like Detective Pikachu. I was like I didn't really expect anything going into it, and I came out, I was like, that was all right.
Yeah, I mean,
Like,
Detective Pikachu was cool, and right behind it is Sonic the Hedgehog,
yeah,
which I haven't seen it, but I heard it was very very good. But I'm excited. I want to see it. I just haven't gotten a chance to.
yeah, same.
Yeah.
I
So
only heard
let's
good things about it though.
yeah.
So
So let's walk it back because like okay. So I guess before we jump into some examples, why do you think that video game movies? Because I mean, if we're talking about on the list here, there's probably like only only probably 50 between things
right.
that haven't even come out yet and things that are going forward. Why do you think that they end up getting such a bad rap? Detective Pikachu is the only thing that really. There's only 2 films or 3 films that even break 50% on Rotten
Right.
Tomatoes.
I think it's a product of a lot of these movies like try too hard to be like, guys, this is the game. Like this is the
Oh
game
yeah.
actualized, and it's like that's not what it needs to be. Like
Mhm.
just like they none of them have like that original of stories. They're all like just they're just trying too hard to shove it in your face. Like this is the game, guys. This is Tomb Raider, guys. This is Resident Evil.
Mhm.
And like Resident Evil isn't like
I don't
anything
think
like
Resident
games.
Evil's. Yeah, I think Resident Evil actually did the right thing,
Yeah,
despite its 36, which we can talk about.
right.
But that honestly, you actually kind of stole exactly what I was thinking is the main problem from me. Like
Hmm.
Doom 2005 with fucking I think Carl Urban and The Rock.
Yeah,
Yeah, Carl Urban and The Rock. I was right. Look at that.
The Rock is definitely in it.
Yeah, like, bad film, right? But then they do the thing. Like they're like Doom's a first person shooter, so then like the big action sequence for the climax of the film is like
Yeah,
all in first person, and like
right.
the HUD's up, and you see the health packs and stuff. And I'm like, this is so stupid.
Yeah,
Like
it's like this is too on the nose. Like it's not about
yeah,
seeing the game. It's about
seeing the story.
yeah, seeing the story and like in the world of the game.
Yeah,
Like
like Doom is about. First of all, the Doom movie doesn't even have the Doom guy in it. They're like just normal people.
no, yeah,
Uh, but like Doom is about, they open a rift to hell because they're trying to find infinite power, and then
hmm
hell, because it is open, is fucking pissed, and they gotta fight demons and shit. Like, and it's like that's interesting, right?
yeah,
But instead, they're like, what if it was first person, and what if we had like the like? They just fuck it up. They try to gamify it too much.
yeah,
Also, obviously, I feel like a lot of times the budget on these is pretty low, and like
yeah,
there's not a lot of like good pickups for them, unfortunately.
yeah. It is hard to. That is another good point. Like it's hard to make these worlds happen because video games are so like it's like it's a blockbuster like on another level in a lot of these games.
Yeah.
It's like how could you like we're talking like Marvel movie level like budgets inside the game itself,
Hmm.
and like not every movie can be that because it's like not proven to
Yeah.
work. So it's like who's going to give them that kind of money?
Yeah.
Um,
It is tough. I agree. You kind of see the same thing with the Assassin's Creed. Like, it was a 20th Century Fox film, but it never really got like off the ground. And they really kind of cut their teeth with it. Like, letting
mhm.
Michael Fassbender like try out his own. I think he was directing or he was producing.
He was the producer.
Yeah, like don't let people try new things. You know what I mean? Like we're
Don't
trying
let
to
them
do
try new
this.
things on something so big, like on a property that has so much potential.
Yeah, like I think that's the other thing. I think Hollywood really, and I don't know if this is just because like the people who make decisions in Hollywood are too old to have really like played some of this content.
Hmm.
But like I feel like they really undersell the potential of what these things are. Like at
Yeah,
the end of the day, the Assassin's Creed video games make more money than I believe any 20th Century Fox franchise.
right.
So like you really got to, like they got to do the service well. Like you got to realize that you have a multi-billion dollar property in your hands already, and
Hmm.
all you have to do is not fuck it up. And I
Yeah,
feel like they don't really give a lot of these like the attention that they deserve, if that makes sense. I don't know.
yeah, and I think you were right earlier too. Like with Resident Evil as like
Yeah.
an example, like they really took like their own path with it. It's not like the games. Like
Yeah.
it's much more of like an action set. It's much more of like it was either last week or the week before I mixed up fucking Resident Evil and Underworld. It's
Yeah.
like I mixed up the actresses because they're so similar. It's like I think when Resident Evil happened, it almost like they played off Underworld or Underworld played off Resident Evil. Like
Yeah, it was very much the
they very,
same mood of like the early 2000s in
it's like an
general.
early 2000s action horror movie.
Yeah.
Like and they stick with that theme all the way throughout the series. And that works for them.
Uh-huh.
Um, and another movie that actually really fucking works for video games, which I know you'll agree, the Warcraft movie. It's
Oh,
fucking
yeah.
good.
I love the
Like
Warcraft movie.
that movie is so underrated. It's so fucking good.
The
It gets
effects are
it got
chef's
dunked
kiss.
on by fucking critics for nothing, honestly.
It is a
Like,
28%.
dude, this it was fucking great. Like,
Yeah.
and you know what it was? Like, they didn't. It was its own fucking movie. Like, it was its own story. They weren't like fucking World of Warcraft. Like, it
Well, I
wasn't.
think it actually is straight up the World of Warcraft story, but like they don't. It doesn't feel like it. You know what I
It
mean?
doesn't feel like it. I mean, maybe it's because we don't actually. Like, I never played World of Warcraft.
So, so if you play like all this stuff, kind of happens before the game actually starts. Like, because the MMO is like its own. You know, like the things already need to have happened for the
Right.
Horde and like the orcs to be their own faction, right? Like they're. And this movie is kind of like the precursor to like how that all starts. But I think the fact that, you know, and I'm not trying to say like you're ignorant, but like the fact that you're like, this isn't like, it doesn't feel like a video game story, like that's what you want. You know what I mean? Like you want it to just be like, it feels like its own thing. Like, and it feels like a story that works on film instead of them just trying to force a video game narrative into a film.
Right. And like I said, like I've never played World of Warcraft, so
Yeah.
like going into it, I was like, yeah, this movie could be cool, could be interesting. And I came out, I was like, I didn't know shit about World of Warcraft, and I don't even know if the story correlates to it, but
But it
like
was
it was
sick.
good, and I liked
Yeah.
it, and it was fun.
Yeah, I think that's the problem with Assassin's Creed, the Michael Fassbender one, because you end up like it ends up not leaning into almost the game part, but it leans into the wrong aspects. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? Like, what is Assassin's Creed cool about? Like, yes, the live action stuff is kind of cool, or like the real like the modern day stuff.
hmm
But a lot of it, most of it, is just about the past. Like, it's about that specific segment.
yeah,
And nothing was more annoying than watching Michael Fassbender cut between him in the Animus rig and
yeah.
him in the past. Like I don't care what he looks like in the
I
Amazon,
agree.
like the Animus rig. Like just like he looks like an idiot. Like he's flailing around. There's nobody there. You know what I mean?
Yeah, they
Like
just put him on like a big crane arm, and he flies around, and it's
which
like that's
is
fucking dumb.
isn't
Like,
even how the Animus works. And like, you know what? I think they put him on the crane arm because they wanted to have more interesting shots of him in like the real world.
yeah,
But guess what? Like that's so boring. Like I don't care what he
yeah.
looks like fighting nobody. Like
There
let's
was
just
like
have him
three
fight
scenes in the
assassins.
past in that Assassin's Creed movie, and it's like you literally like took away the coolest part of Assassin's Creed,
Yeah, like the
and
shit
like you
should
didn't
be
even do
all the
anything
past.
cool in it. Like, I mean, there was cool stuff. Don't get me wrong. There was cool stuff in the past, but like, that's what that's all we want to see. Like, I don't like you said. Like, I don't give a fuck about the outside of the Animus. Like, I mean, like, I actually like advocate for outside the Animus story in the games. I'm like one of those people, but like
Yeah.
seeing it in the movie, I was like, this is fucking trash. Like, this
Well,
is
yeah.
fucking,
So that's the other. Like, I think that as someone who does advocate for only assassins, fuck the modern day thing, unless you do a full on modern day Assassin's Creed.
yeah,
I think that especially in the movie, like at least in the games, there's like a very long amount of time to have that, both stories play out. Like
Mhm.
you see the Desmond stuff play out over like four, I guess 6 games really. And like I feel like it has no place in a 2-hour film where we have this much time to
right,
tell a story. Why would I add all of this extra animus crap when I can
yeah,
just instantly jump to the past and tell like a very compelling story about assassins, Templars, good, evil. You know what I mean?
right.
Like it's just a
I
waste of
agree.
time. It's just trying to cash. Like you're checking the. I think that's going back to what you said. It's checking the boxes. I think is the real problem.
hmm
You're like, what is this game about? Oh, Mario. He jumps. Check. He's Italian. Check. Like
Plumber.
yeah, check. Like you know what I mean? Like they're just doing weird things that they don't have to care about at all.
Hmm.
and they're just like they almost have no idea what the game's really about. Um, yeah, I don't know. Like they're just checking the wrong boxes just to be like, yes, that's in the game and it's in this. Wow. Yeah, and it just doesn't need to be there. Okay, so hold on. Let me see where we're at time wise before I keep talking my mouth off. All right, we got like another 15 minutes, so we're actually pretty good. It's a quick episode today,
Yeah,
but because we obviously recorded on Wednesday last week. Unfortunately, there hasn't been much to talk about. Short week.
we were a little late last week, but it's okay.
Yeah. All right, I'm gonna run through this list here because again, there's really not that many films, right?
Hmm.
Super Mario Bros. Sucked.
Bad.
Double Dragon. Never heard of it, but okay.
Never seen it.
Have you seen the original Street Fighter or the original Mortal Kombat?
I've seen bits of the original Street Fighter. It is ridiculous.
Yeah, Jean Claude Van Damme.
Yeah,
really
it's fucking
puts it
insane.
on him.
I have not seen any of the Mortal Kombat stuff.
Yeah, that's fair. Wing Commander. You know what? This okay. So this is another topic. Video game movies aren't about video games that are movies. Like, so Super Inception. I saw War Games this week. That
That was a great fucking movie.
So it's a great movie, right? And it's a movie that is about playing video games. So it's like about tech. It's about video games. It's about
Yeah,
it's just, but it was good. Like it felt correct. You know what I mean?
right.
And like that movie had created almost like a fake game for the narrative. Like it's thermonuclear war with this giant AI bot.
Yeah,
Like that was a more compelling thing. Also, if you've never seen Video Game High School, that's also really, really good. It's online. I believe it's only 2 hours if you watch the whole thing. It's like a web series, but that's a really great, not like a direct adaptation of video games, but it's in the flavor of like this is about video games and it's good. Anyway, sorry, continue. Lara Croft, Tomb Raider with Angelina Jolie gets a 21% on Rotten Tomatoes. I like this one. I like Angelina Jolie as Lara Croft. I think that the second one is a little too much.
yeah. I mean, they're both pretty campy, but
Yeah, but I feel like the first one wasn't bad. Like if we're talking about video game movies, like it was kind of close.
Yeah.
It was getting in the right direction.
I think it was. I think it's pretty obvious to say they were moving in a better direction from Super Mario Bros. And Street Fighter
Yes.
and Mortal Kombat.
See, so this is actually where we get some good ones, right? Because even though they are technically low performing bad, right?
Yeah.
Like Resident Evil 2002, I love it. I love like Mila Jovovich is great in Resident Evil. I like literally all the Resident Evils, every single one of them. They're so
I really like that Resident Evil just like they did it and then they stuck to the guns. Like they just like
they're like this is
they
what
never
it's
like
about.
really wavered from it. I mean, it got more intense as like the sequels came and like it really became like she starts out in the first one in like a in like that red dress and like she looks like just like an average person, but then like by like the last one she's in like a whole black jumpsuit like fucking murdered everybody. Like it got more intense, but like they stuck with the theme and they never wavered from it, and I respect the fuck out of that. And also they're pretty badass, so
it's super bad. I mean, if we're like seriously, she made them from 2002 to 2017.
Yep.
So like girls getting
Commitment.
work, and like they're committing to the vibe. Like that's just great. I love that.
Yep.
Let's see what else we have. Doom we talked about. That was really bad. It's on Netflix if you want to watch it. It's kind of short. I think it's only like an hour, which is another like kind of what we were talking about. It's like no one actually cared when they made this.
Yeah.
But it has great actors. Carl Urban is a great actor, and Dwayne The Rock Johnson is an actor.
He's pretty good. He's decent.
Yeah.
It was one of his first acting roles besides like Scorpion King.
Yeah, he was actually in an episode of Star Trek Voyager in
Holy.
I guess it would have been like 2002 maybe. Probably
Yeah.
I don't know. He doesn't have any speaking lines. He's just a wrestler.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was funny, I guess. Let's see, more Resident Evil. Those are all good. Hitman in 2007. I did not see this one.
I didn't see it, but I remember when it came out.
Yeah, there's another Hitman that comes up later that I saw with my dad, and that was really fucking terrible. We'll get there. So here's actually a string of things that I never knew they made movies of. They made a Far Cry movie. How about that?
They did?
It says it's a 2008 English language German action film. Like, whoa,
Uh,
that's deep. Has
that's a
a
lot.
yeah, I think it might have been straight to DVD because it doesn't even have a Rotten Tomatoes. Like nobody even bothered to review it.
Yeah,
That's very tough. Max Payne, Tekken,
never
Street
saw it.
Fighter. Yeah, Street Fighter: The Legend of Chun Li. I've seen parts of because that was
I've
just
seen.
like very weird.
It's fucking nuts.
Yeah. So this is okay. Now this is where we get into what I debatably think is one of the best live action video game films of all time. Prince of Persia and the Sands of Time.
Yes, yes, Jake
What
Gyllenhaal.
a great film. What an
This movie was
action.
sick.
It's
This movie's
so
fucking
good.
cool as hell.
So good. Like Disney put it together with it's obviously a Ubisoft game, but Disney put the movie up. I
Yeah.
genuinely think that movie is fantastic. Like it's
I think it's on Disney Plus.
yeah, it's like Tron Legacy to me. It's like wow, this is fucking sick.
Yeah.
But like Tron Legacy also does not have great reviews, unfortunately. But like yeah, I just think that movie's so good. Jake Gyllenhaal really like does a great job.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. 2010, different time. Then two back-to-back Resident Evil movies. Let's see, Silent Hill. Never saw that, but that's probably kind of gross. 10%. Need for Speed. It's like it has Aaron
That
Paul
movie
in
was
it.
bad. That was Aaron
Yeah,
Paul, right?
yeah, it
Yeah.
was. Yeah,
I wish it
think,
was better because I like Aaron Paul.
I mean, I think like Need for Speed is a cool concept, right? Like I like the games,
Yeah,
but like you can't compete with Fast and Furious. There's no way.
that's true. Yeah, very
There's
hard market.
no way. Yeah. This is the game movie that I saw with my dad. So it's Hitman Agent 47. This was yeah, it was
no.
2015. I was looking at colleges at the time, and I was up in Rochester with my dad, and we had just like finished the tour, and it's like, all right, we're at the hotel room. What are we gonna do? And we pass like on the way to like we're getting dinner at like Chili's. I don't know what the fuck. And we pass a movie theater. I'm like, why don't we go catch a movie? And I look at the sign, and I'm like, oh look at that, like Hitman's out. Like that sounds kind of neat.
Yeah,
My dad's like, I like Assassins, and I'm like, I like Assassins, so like we watch it. Holy fuck! Like a 9% of Rotten Tomatoes is overselling it. Like that shit was so bad.
oh my god.
Oh, it was ridiculous. So yeah, I thought that sucked. Warcraft was good. We both agree on that.
Yep.
Assassin's Creed was unfortunate. But you know we're getting a live action TV series from Netflix, and I believe in Netflix with all my soul because they bought my interest with The Witcher. That's what they get.
Yeah, I think they definitely have the merits for it. So
Yeah, and
they've earned
then
it.
let's see, we got Tomb Raider again with Alyssa Vikander. This is actually
It's
the
getting a sequel.
yeah. I mean, it got a 51% in Rotten Tomatoes, put in 270 million. It surprisingly is actually it's in the top 3%. It's in the top 3 out of all of these.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I never got to see it, but maybe
Yeah.
maybe I will.
And
I
then-
didn't know it got that high of a score.
yeah, 50. Wow. Rampage was like a really stupid Dwayne the Rock Johnson film.
Oh yeah, I heard that was bad.
Yeah, so that's
But
that.
I remember playing that game when I was a kid. It was fucking sick. It was a
Yeah.
fucking great game.
And then obviously we got Detective Pikachu and Sonic the Hedgehog.
Yeah,
So that kind of like, and you can tell it's getting better, right? Like again, Detective
we're
Pikachu.
definitely on an incline.
Yeah. What does Detective Pikachu have to do with the actual games, though? Nothing. They did
Nothing.
it. They're
that's
geniuses. They figured it out.
And they let Pikachu talk, which was a good idea.
I don't know about that. I don't know
Well,
about that. Well, he
I mean-
talks in the game, so that's fair.
I think the problem is it's Ryan Reynolds, and it's like that's not Pikachu.
Well, Danny
But, like-
DeVito.
Yeah,
Because if you play, so Detective Pikachu is actually a like spin-off video game of the mainline series,
yeah,
and I can't remember if Danny DeVito actually plays the character in the video game,
yeah,
or if like it's like in the Japanese version, it's like a very similar kind of like he sounds like a 40-year-old who smokes a lot of cigarettes.
yeah.
Yeah, it was just super weird, but like good. And Sonic the Hedgehog, like also like they're just not. It's not about the game. It's about a story about Sonic the Hedgehog, which is like yes, that's what we want.
Yeah. And on top of that, like, I think it's also important to note the I think we all know about the Sonic the Hedgehog gear shift, like how
Mm,
they totally changed
yes.
that movie, and like Sonic looked like shit, and then everyone was like, "That's fucking terrible," and then they
Yeah.
changed it. Like if you like, I have it pulled up on Google right now on my
Hmm.
screen. Like the Sonic the Hedgehog movie, like they don't even show you the poster, dude. It's literally like it's the original Sonic design and then the finished Sonic design. It's like not even the fucking poster, like because that's like the story of how this movie got made, and like
Yeah.
I think that's important. It's a good note because the studio listened to the fans and it worked out for them in the
Yeah.
long run.
It very
Like, did
much
the movie
worked
get
out for
delayed?
them.
Yes, but it was a good fucking move,
Yeah. Wow, that dude
and
looks
it definitely benefited the
so
movie.
fucking ugly.
Yeah, it was bad.
Oh
It was
my
bad.
god. Yeah, I can't. Listen, they tried something and then they sent it back and then it worked. Like, oh my god, good for them.
Yep,
For real, good for them that that worked out because now they are the second most successful and highest rated, second highest rated
yep.
video
And
game
I'm pretty sure
film.
it's getting a sequel,
It
as it should.
is, which we are. Let's actually talk about that to kind of round off our episode here, as we are
Mm.
coming into the home stretch of the hour. Like they have a list here of all of the things that are coming out. We got a Resident Evil reboot for 2021.
Hmm.
That sounds good, I guess. I don't know. I mean, I like Resident Evil. I feel like without Mila Jovovich, it's like, why are we doing this?
Yep.
But you know, we'll see what happens. If they do something really fucking weird, like the Resident Evil, like the recent ones, like 7 and like Biohazard 7 and 8 is called the Village.
Right.
Like
Right.
the trailers for the Village are fucking wild.
It look. It doesn't even look like Resident Evil, low key.
Yeah, and 7 was also not. It was very very different than what like Resident
It
Evil
was
has
like a
been in the
VR
past.
experience, right?
It was a normal game, but you could play the entire thing in VR.
Right.
But it is just so different. Like I think that if they can go to that like smaller horror where it's not even necessarily about zombies, but it's just about like mutants and fucking crazy shit.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Mortal Kombat could give less of a fuck if they put out another one of those. Sonic the Hedgehog 2, big hype. Genuinely, I think, if I'm Sega, I'm like, we fucking did it, baby. Like
Yeah.
like
Seriously,
we
we
killed
pulled
it.
this one out.
Like we bent Sonic or we bent Mario over in the film space, killed it. Let's see what else we have. Monster Hunter, there've been a lot of screenshots from that with Mila Jovovich. I think that has
Yeah,
potential. I think that it's probably.
I think it looked pretty cool from what I saw.
I almost had a heart attack. It's written and directed by Paul W.S. Anderson,
Totally.
and I read it as Wes Anderson, and I was like, no.
Holy
I was like,
shit.
holy fuck.
Fucking insane.
Nah, that'd be wild. But yeah, I mean, like, T.I.'s in this movie.
Holy.
Oh, but like, I don't know. Like, listen, does Mila Jovovich like do her films end up doing well? Not a lot. Are they always pretty good? Yeah, they're like campy as fuck. It's sick.
She stays in a lane, and she dominates that lane. Like,
Yeah,
who
she
else is
really
doing shit
kills it.
in that fucking like genre? You know?
Yeah, that comes out next month. Apparently, we'll see if that happens. Uncharted, obviously, we've been talking about that. Just finished filming.
I have
That's
high hopes.
exciting. Yeah,
I think it looks
I have high hopes for the possible. People are starting to turn it around. Like I feel like there's a chance.
definitely.
Yeah, and then coming into this end part is where we get terrible films that I don't believe almost any of these films are coming. Untitled Borderlands film, not a chance.
Should not happen.
Crossfire, really big game in foreign countries, not really in this country.
I don't know anything about Crossfire.
Exactly, pass. Detective Pikachu, that'll be fine. Five Nights at Freddy's, I feel like they just bought the license and forgot
Don't do
about
that.
it.
That would be so fucking dumb.
Yeah, Gears of War could be cool if you get like Dave Bautista in there.
Ooh, that would actually. I would like that.
Yeah, I don't know. Microsoft has been saying they're going to do stuff like this. Like they also said, like Steven Spielberg's directing a Halo TV show or whatever, and like it never happened.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like it's been
Right,
like
right.
6 years.
I would love to see a Halo show or movie or something too. That would also fucking be awesome.
Yeah, they had a live action web series for the fall of Reach, I think,
Yeah.
and it was like okay. I mean, the production was yeah, it was fine. It was just whatever. It could be way better. So we'll see what happens with that. Just
Yeah.
Cause, like, okay. Not
I don't,
really a plot
I don't
to
even know what
that.
the story of Just Cause is.
It's
So,
grapple things to blow them up.
yeah.
Just Dance, like you got to be a fucking idiot. Who would buy that? That's not even a concept. You know what I mean?
No, no,
Like I
not gonna
guess
happen.
maybe they bought it in like the 2000s, like
Dude, it's gonna
2008.
be the next fucking
Step up.
step up.
That's what I
Stomp
was
the
thinking.
yard.
I'm thinking they must have like seen those dance movies with like J Lo, and they're like, we could do that again, but like it's done.
Dude,
That's
those
done.
movies are a meme now.
Yeah. Metal Gear
Like,
Solid film, that'd probably be fine. They'd probably fuck it up because that
probably
Metal Gear
fucking up.
Solid has the most stupid, ridiculous story that makes no sense. So forget about that. Minecraft, that's stupid.
Nah, don't do that.
Yeah, I feel like it's from Warner Brothers. I'm feeling like they do like some sort of Minions bullshit on it.
I feel like it'd be like Steve from Blue's Clues walking around outside.
Yeah,
Like,
it's spooky. A Space Invaders film, they must have bought that like literally 100 years ago.
I feel like that would
Uh,
turn out like some fucking like Independence Day or something,
I feel like it would turn out like Pixels with Adam
or
Sandler.
Pixels. That's oh, God, I forgot about that.
Yeah. Untitled Saints Row film. Unfortunately, Saints Row has been fucking murdered.
Yeah,
Uh,
they killed that.
yeah. Tomb Raider 2, I do think I see that coming though. I don't know
I think
when.
that'll happen.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but that,
I agree.
yeah. What else do we have? Werewolves Within. Fuck that. And then
What is that? I don't know
Yakuza.
what that is.
I think the Untitled Yakuza film was like very recently announced, and I also don't know what Werewolves Within is. But the
Yeah,
Yakuza thing, I think, is going to take time. I do think it will come out because I think people like gangster films.
right.
So we'll see what happens with that.
I think that'd be cool.
Yeah, and then even there's a list of animated films down here at the bottom. There's like four. It's like the Ratchet and Clank film, which is literally
The game.
just cutscenes from the video. It's ridiculous. I was almost
Yeah.
pissed because I watched the movie, and then like I'm playing the remake of 2016,
Yeah.
and I was like, this is literally the same exact cutscene. You dumb, like you cheap
We
fucks.
finessed everyone.
It's
Resold the
ridiculous.
cutscenes.
They did. It was insane. I was like, how
People do
in
YouTube
God's
edits to
earth?
that shit. You ever seen
How?
those?
Yeah.
You can go on YouTube and like watch like Batman Arkham City the movie, and it's just the cutscenes of the game. It's like, wow, thanks, thanks for doing that.
Can't believe it. Can't believe it cost $13 million.
Yeah,
Yeah. And then the Angry Birds movies, which is like, okay, okay. I mean,
I,
they're not bad.
I think they worked.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Angry Birds
I mean,
2 is actually pretty funny.
yeah, yeah. I actually heard a lot of really good things about the Angry Birds movies.
Yeah. And then the
Very
Mario.
much in like the Minions realm.
Yeah. No, I agree. Very much in the Minions realm. And then the Untitled Mario film is still in development, so we'll see what happens with that.
That's gonna be animated?
Yes, it's going to be animated from the same people. I think they're called Luminous Studios, maybe. They're the
Oh,
people
okay.
who animate like Minions and stuff.
I think that's a good idea.
Yeah.
I think it should stay animated. I don't think Mario should be real.
Yeah. The problem is I don't think Mario should ever say anything. So like we'll see what happens.
That's also a good point. That could change a lot.
Yeah. So we'll see what happens. Anyway, that has been Cinema Scrutiny. I've been John. That's been Billy. Be sure to like, comment, favorite, subscribe, share it with your friends, share it with your mom. Your mom like watching TV. We like talking to your mom.
Bring us up at Thanksgiving dinner. If you're
Yes,
getting
that
together.
is coming up. Stay
It is coming
safe.
up.
Maybe you guys are doing a Zoom call for your family dinner. That's weird, but I bet people are doing it.
Bring it up. Bring
Yeah.
up the podcast. Why not?
Yeah.
Why not?
Yeah. Next week we are going to be talking about something. We forgot to decide on a topic before we started recording. So
It's a mystery. It's
Yeah.
going to be a mystery box one. So
Mm.
you know what it is? We didn't
Mm.
decide on the topic for next week. But you know what that does mean? You're going to have to tune in next week to find out.
oh, wow, damn.
Fucking got him, dude. Fucking got him.
Oh god. All right. Well, thanks again for watching, and have a good week, guys. We'll see you next week.